you know what? I hate you now. All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's video, as you saw in the title, is obviously a more heated one, a lot more dramatic one, and it's something that I feel like I have to address right now because I'm getting so many messages still because recently some mainstream influencers who are good friends of mine have gone ex-vegan. And this happens every single time someone in the mainstream vegan community and social media goes ex-vegan. I get loads of messages and people answer my Q&As, and I just get like half of the questions are just about whoever it is. And a lot of people will sit there and tell me exactly what I should do rather than asking for my opinion. A lot of people will say, I can't believe that you are still friends with whatever. I can't believe that you haven't made a video talking about this person. I'm unsubscribing. I've gotten, seriously, comments and messages like this. I'm unsubscribing because you haven't talked about this person yet and, made a big deal about them or condemned them. So today I want to talk about my opinion when my friends go ex-vegan. Now, right off the bat, we all have our values, our morals, our stances, right? And I think it's important that we develop strong values and morals, and we stick by our stances. I think it's important to be able to change, but I think it's important also not to constantly change just to please people. So right off the bat, like I was saying, I believe that veganism is extremely important. I am vegan for ethical reasons, as well as I got into plant-based dieting and veganism because of health issues. I wanted to help clear up my acne more, and then I, slowly went up the ladder and learned different things, and now I say that I have a pretty damn strong moral stance when it comes to veganism. I do it not only for myself and my health, but for the animals and to reduce suffering, and it's great that it also helps the environment and stuff like that. So I have my stance on veganism. When someone who's a close friend of mine stops being vegan, in my head I'm like, I just don't really understand why they aren't vegan anymore. It's for me, it's like, that's weird, But the way I want to explain this is, say there's a river, right? And I like to think of myself as like a stone, a rock in the river, right? And it takes a lot to move a stone in a river, right? There's constantly water pushing over the rock, telling it what to do, but the rock doesn't often move. Sometimes, the rock will finally get kinked up a little bit, pick up the current, and it'll move a couple feet down the river. So that's basically me. I have my strong opinions and stances on things. Sometimes I will hear other people's opinions. I always hear them, but sometimes it'll actually resonate, and I'll say, you know what, that's a new way of thinking that's helping me develop a new stance, and it helps develop a stronger sense of where I stand on things. I would say that, other people, especially in the social media world, it is really hard because there's so many opinions, there's so much criticism, and it can be easy to want to please everybody. So it can be easy to hear other people say things that are really mean to you and say that you're doing things wrong, and then you change the way that you're doing things. And I would say a lot of people feel probably more like a leaf. They fall on the river, and the river's constantly ebbing and flowing, rushing around, and they are constantly moving back and forth, If you look at a year back, 5 years back, they're constantly gigantically different people, and they have massively different opinions of things. So that's just how I think of myself. It takes a lot for me to change my opinion. When it comes to people who go ex-vegan, I think that it costs a lot of energy to get constantly perturbed, to be constantly, swayed massively emotionally, to be depressed, be angry, be all these different things. I think it's counterproductive for a person to be constantly swayed every day, not only by what their friends and their people in their life do, but also, politics and what everyone else is thinking and all this stuff, what people post on the internet. I think people get too easily perturbed and emotional about this stuff, and I think it drains you. I think a lot of us talk about mental health and keeping our mental health sane and strong, but I think a lot of people aren't doing what I'm doing, which is if it's out of your control, then just let it be. Because if you waste your energy trying to control it, you're just going to get angry, and it's just going to make your life harder. So the analogy I'll give for this is me and my dad constantly have disagreements with things that we think about, right? And we'll have these long conversations sometimes, and it'll be 10, 15, 20 minutes of us going back and forth. And, it can sound like we're mad at each other, whatever, but we're just trying to strongly explain to the other person what our stance is. And it can be on so many different things, but by the end of it, it's that's fine. I'm not going to disown my dad. I'm not going to say my dad's no longer my friend. I'm not going to say my dad has lost my respect just because he has a different opinion than me. And there's so many different things that people have different opinions on. I'm not going to stop being my sister's brother. I'm not going to stop being best friends with my best friends because we disagree with politics, religion, pollution, climate change, electric cars, gasoline cars. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you go through life constantly disowning people and stop being friends with people because they won't change their opinions to align perfectly with you, then I think you're crippling yourself in the relationships that you can have. Because being friends with people isn't always about having the exact same opinions, and it's not always about changing people so that they agree with you. I think if people are willing to just agree with you because you argue so much, I don't think those people are truly deeply your friends, because they don't respect you. They're scared of you. They don't want to displease you. I think there's a level of respect where you can constantly, debate things and be like, you know what, we had that debate and I still disagree with you strongly. I think none of your points had any relevance and I don't agree with you at all. But you know what? You're your own person. And like I said, spending energy being mad at another person because you can't change them or because they won't take your opinion is bad for your mental health. So that's how I feel about when my friends go ex-vegan. I don't necessarily agree with it. I do, whatever I can within my control to talk to them about it, understand them and stuff. And then I say, okay, well, we disagree on that point. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, you know what? I hate you now. All that stuff that we had in the past, all those things that I've done for you, all those things that you've done for me, all those reasons that we've loved each other, all those times that you've met my family has, embraced you, loved you, fed you, had a good time, have thought of you, as one of my really good friends, constantly stayed updated with you, and vice versa. All that goes out the door. That never happened. None of that mattered to me. I feel like that's such an unhealthy way to go about life. When it comes to disagreements, I think there are some stances, values, and positions that myself or you will be unwavering on. There's something deeper and some emotional, root to those stances where you say, you know what, like, no matter what anybody says, I'll listen to them, but it's not going to change my position. And that's how I feel about veganism. But there are loads of different positions and things that people argue on every single day that I don't think you need to be so rigid on. If you think space travel is stupid because we should spend money on something else, I don't think that you should have a conversation with your friend and they say, well, we should spend money on this instead of that. It'd be way better for us. I don't think you should be like, you know what, that's stupid. I want us to be on Mars, so I think you're dumb. We're no longer friends, or vice versa. That's destructive. It makes it so that you're constantly polarizing. Your friends are going to slowly move away from you because they find you to be abrasive. They find you not to allow them to grow in their own time. And ultimately, like I said earlier, it's going to be bad for your mental health because you're constantly being angry. You're constantly going to think that everyone's out to get you and no one can agree with you. And I think that is a super, super destructive stance and point to have. My last thing I want to say is everyone is on their own path. And I think that's important to recognize. I think it's quick and easy to say, this person is evil. I hate them so much. And so I'm judging them right off where they are right now. So if you don't know my story, I've dealt with extremely, extremely severe acne. And it really took a toll on me emotionally. Like, it took me through some really dark times where what people were saying to me was like destroying my self-confidence. It was making me feel terrible about myself. There was one point, probably heard this story before if you follow me on my other channel, Team Acne, but there's this one point where this girl came up to me literally out of nowhere in the middle of the day during lunch in high school, and she just walked up to me. I had plenty of cysts on my face, lots of blackheads, completely covered in acne, and she said, I would never date you because you're ugly. I've told that story so many times, and so many people will leave comments, and I understand because emotionally they're like, yo, screw her, that's so messed up. I hate that girl. And people will say, like, I bet that girl is sitting here now thinking like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or like, I hope that girl had a bad life, or like, that girl sucks, I hate her, all these like mean things, and I understand that reaction, but the way I look at it is, at the moment, it really hurt. And maybe I was really mad at her at the moment, but now I look back at it and I say, you know what, she was probably in a position in her path where she still needed to grow. Maybe she hadn't dealt with something, that made her feel bad so that she could gain that empathy for other people. Maybe she was having a bad position in her life and her family, whatever it is, right? She was in an abusive relationship, whatever it is. She was angry. I like to think that maybe now she's 10 years down the path and now she's a completely different person. She's developed a lot differently, and maybe now we would be really good friends. Maybe we'd be best friends. Maybe we share the exact same values and points. And so my point of saying this and telling you that story is that I think it's important to have strong positions, strong values and ethics and stuff, but when someone else has a different path that they're going on, or a different position, it's okay for you to say, I disagree with you and I'm not going to change because of what you're doing. But to give them room to grow And if you tell them how much you hate them and how they're just the worst person ever, it's not likely that they're gonna go back to a path that you agree with. It's likely that you're going to be part of those thorns and stickers as they're walking down their path that keep them from walking down a path that maybe you agree more on. I just think it's important to recognize that every human is not perfect and nobody will ever be perfect, and we're all developing on our own paths. And 5 years down the line, I hope I'm a different person, and I hope you're a different person, and I hope that you can look at yourself and say, I personally feel that I am a better person now. And I like to give credit to people and hope that that's also what they're going to do. And I just think it's destructive to, to put out hate messages and condemn those people. And ultimately, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think it's important to focus on yourself. Focus on things that are in your control and keep your mental health as good as you can possibly keep it. Keep the sanctity of your mental health. And not let yourself just get constantly swayed emotionally. So I think that's my position on when my friends go ex-vegan. I wish they didn't, but I'm not going to spend my mental energy weeks and months being angry and putting myself in a bad position, because I'm happy where my life is right now. I'm really stoked. I'm doing some things that I think are amazing, and I'm putting so much effort in, and it's unfolding, and the way I'm thinking with my mind and my subconscious is allowing these things to get better and better and better. And if I start letting things, strike me in the middle of my road and start to injure me and make me limp down that road, I'm going to go down that road less successfully. Maybe I won't even travel down the road that I want to travel on because I'm so perturbed. And yeah, I don't know. I think maybe you guys get my point here. And so I just want to put this video out so that people can stop messaging me and asking me to talk about this. You guys know I don't like to do the drama videos pretty much ever, but I feel like right now I really did need to address it so that we can move on, not worry about it. People are going to go vegan that you never thought were going to go vegan. People that you never thought were going to go ex-vegan are going to go ex-vegan, and life moves on. And it's okay. Just focus on yourself, love yourself, continue doing your best to be your best person. And that's all you can do. I think I got my opinions out pretty well for just going off the cuff here. I don't have like a script or like bullet points or anything like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. On another completely side note, if you guys want my vegan recipe book or my vegan beginner's guidebook, I have both of them on eatveganordieTrying.com. You can get the link in the description below. It's a great way to support me. It's also a great way for you to learn awesome recipes, the best ones in the industry. And also, learn a lot of really, really good tips to do veganism and plant-based dieting right. So, with that, I end this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. I know the comments going to be crazy in this video, but I actually do want to hear what you guys say. So, let's start a conversation down there. Give this video a big old thumbs up if you agree, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I love you guys. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Thank you for supporting for all these years, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Team me up, CT, lift heavy.